the time
Of course.
and coming to the podcast. How's your day been?
It's good. Can I tell other people why I was like 10 minutes late?
Yeah, sure.
Because I didn't have my chapstick in my car, so I was like, no, I need my lips to look good. I want to give baddie, so I had to start by CVS.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
And I always try to give leeway to people because I'm like, we might have said 3, but things happen, and plus Charlotte traffic, it's so unpredictable.
Yeah, of course.
You just never know what's gonna happen, but. I mean, we're not going to have a structure to this podcast, but I saw your recent story of you're like, I do not want to go to jail.
Oh.
I really want to start off there because whenever you're an entrepreneur or whatever name people want to put it, you start your own business, you come to learn a lot of things in ways that are not structured because... You might think you're doing things right, but then you come back and notice you're like, oh, shit, I just messed up everything.
For sure. I think, like, me not having any experience, like, previous experience with, like, having an LLC, running a business, even what I do, like, baking in general, like, making cakes, I went into this very, like, blindfolded. It was almost like I put on a blindfold and got thrown into the ocean. Like, you never really know if you're doing everything right. So... I think, like, my biggest fear is, like, getting in trouble with the law, the IRS, you know, like, because you work so hard for your money, you don't want them to come knocking on your door and be like, hey, you owe, like, $10,000. That's why, you know, tax season, like, it's been pretty stressful. But I think that's, like, a daily thing. It's not even just, like, taxes. It's, like, sales tax, just, like, everything that kind of makes your business a business. You never really have a clear answer. You can ask somebody something and they'll tell you no, that's not necessary, or you can ask somebody else and they'll tell you the complete opposite. So I think that's just really, like, difficult in the sense that I went into this very blindly. So every day it's something new, and I think that, like, it's so crazy to me because there's so much to learn, but you can never get the guidance from just one person. You kind of have to go through other people's experiences, if that makes sense.
How long ago did you start your LLC?
I established my LLC last July.
Last July?
Yeah, last July. Not even this July. It's about to be a year in the summer. But I started my business.
Did you do that for a certain reason? Did you come to learn that you were better off with an LLC than doing it as personal transactions?
Honestly, I just went with what people were telling me again. I didn't think I needed it. I didn't know it was so easy. If I knew it was so easy, I probably would have started that. Like, started that. That would have been, like, one of the first things I would have done. But I would always just see businesses just with that name, and I would look into it, and I didn't know it was so easy, so I just, like, threw myself in. You know, I wanted it to be, like, a business. I wanted it to be, like, legit. So I think that's one of the first things, like, you can do that's pretty easy.
And I'm not sure why it became very popular for people to start forming LLCs. Or I'll just tell you my side. It's, again, every industry has a different way of working. But when you're an LLC... Basically, you do your personal taxes and your business taxes together. They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
What I manage more is, like, incorporations or corporations.
And there's, like, S-corps as well.
Yeah, S-corps and C-corps. But you can say that that's its own person. Whatever, let's say company 1 does and that company is insured, it never falls back on you.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons as well. Like... protecting myself. And since this is my only job, I've been doing this full time since I started. Like, I quit my full-time job to do this full time.
You got to tell me about that.
Yeah, I will for sure. We'll get into that a little later, but I just wanted it to I don't know, it's just like I just wanted it to feel legit. Like, if I was working towards, like, a business and, you know, having something going for me, I wanted it to be stamped. Like, I wanted it to be legit off day one.
Well,
you know, I didn't want to waste too much time thinking, like, if I should do it or not. And I'm glad I did, because the sooner I started, the more I learned.
The more you learn.
Yeah, because I wouldn't know all this if I just started my LLC today. You know, what I know now, I would have taken me months to figure out, because you really do learn by making mistakes.
And so what types of taxes, like, I know that a lot of people do baking in-house, cupcakes, dip strawberries, flowers.
There's a lot.
What types of tax are you aware now that you didn't know before?
Like, I know there's sales tax. you know, that you have to kind of sign up for.
I think it's like I don't know if it's the 4%, and then
It's
that goes to
8.5, I think, for
North
baked
Carolina,
goods.
or 7.25 something.
Yeah, I think that I just literally started looking into a couple days ago. I want to say like 3 days ago, I was calling tax representatives because
Okay.
somebody told me you have to. Somebody told me you really don't have to. It all depends, because you go to a bakery. I went to a bakery earlier. They charged me sales tax. If I were to start charging it, my tax lady, she told me she prefers I just kind of like wait a little bit, because you don't want to throw in that extra percent.
Because then you have to explain it to customers too.
And honestly, if it's not necessary, I don't want to do it, because people are already spending their hard-earned money on me, you know, so I don't want to throw in that extra thing if it's really not necessary. But these are the things you really have to look into. Like, don't take tax advice from me. Like, I have no idea what I'm getting into. But like I said, like, just with everything, when I started my business, you learn as you go. Okay. So maybe it might be necessary, and somebody might tell me after this podcast, but I'll get onto that really quickly. I'm like, okay, I'm on it. I'll do it.
Okay, well, good. And you took the first step a year ago, and well, I think it's a long journey ahead, but you'll if you're committed to learning that, then you'll definitely
literally like started like from the first day I started. It's just been like I just kept going. I never stopped.
But tell me then, are you a Charlotte native? Did you move here from somewhere?
No, I grew up here. I was born and raised here.
Yeah.
My parents raised my older brother in Los Angeles. In California, and they moved here I think maybe a year or two before I was born. So my parents had me later in life. My brother was already like 16, 17 when I was born.
Oh, so you're the little sister.
Yeah, I'm the little one. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like my parents were in their like late 30s. And yeah, I've grown up in the same house, you know, grown up with my aunts all around me. So I've just been in one spot the entire time.
And with so many women around you, did they motivate you to go into a specific career as you were growing up, or being the little sister, were you pressured at all to go down a certain road?
I wouldn't say pressured, but my brother always told me, even to this day, he's always telling me like keep going, like, you know, you're smarter than you think is something he tells me a lot. So does my mom, but I like that you brought up like being around so many women, because my mom used to get up at 4 a.m, and she used to take me to my aunt's, and I would sleep. I would wake up every day at 4 a.m. She would go to work, drop me off, and 2-3 hours later, my aunt would wake us up and take us to school. And then she would go to work. So, you know, they kind of alternated in that. And that's kind of how I grew up and was raised, because I grew up really close to my cousin Wendy. We're a couple weeks apart. We grew up like sisters. And I'm really glad I had 2-3 aunts around me at all times.
Okay, how come?
I want to say, like, not because they couldn't raise us properly, but it was really hard, especially, like, growing up with immigrant family members. You know, like, they had to, like, I don't know how to explain it. They had to work for what they had, you know? So they, like, everything my mom has now is because she worked for it, and my dad as well. So do my other aunts. So I think we kind of bounced off the care between each ones, because they didn't want to stick us in like random babysitters. So I think being around like all those hard-working women, it really motivated me to just, even when I'm exhausted, I still go.
Yeah, and to my from what you're saying, I start to wonder then, what do those women and that being like alternating all the time, shifting, moving, never, like, what does that do to you?
There's always a way. There's always a way you can make it happen, because even when my mom was like super busy at work, she would make time to come see me during lunch at school. She would make time to pick me up if I wanted to go home early, or if I was sick. She worked like 4 a.m. to 3 p.m. probably my entire childhood, really, up until I want to say middle school or high school. She started going a little lighter at work. And of course my dad, obviously, but I was obviously around my entire life. And just seeing that, and just seeing how she like worked and grinded every single day, it kind of, I feel like I kind of it's in my blood, I want to say, because she told me, she was like, I wish I would have sat down more when I was pregnant with you. I wish I would have just chilled out, because my mom was a manager at a grocery store, Winn-Dixie. I don't know if you remember
Wait,
that.
Dixie,
Yeah.
the pig, yeah.
Yeah, and
I
now
remember.
she works at Harry Steeder. She's a floral manager at Harry Steeder, but she worked in the stocking department before she was a floral manager.
Mm-hmm.
So she would wake up super early and she would get to work. And I actually was lucky enough to be in the position where I worked the same job she did.
Mm-hmm.
And I would come home with cuts all over my hands, my feet hurting so bad. Because, like, during COVID, I did the same position she did because she went to another store. So, like, I've been in her shoes. Like, I know what she went through, like, growing up. So that's why I think, like, honestly, this job could stress me out, but it's light work, to be honest.
But then those experiences kind of start teaching you, like, you choose your hard because you can't say that you haven't stayed up until after hours
For sure.
baking.
Yeah.
Because, but I mean, it would be, we would be ignoring a lot of stuff if we try to compare it, because you can't compare it. They're both tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen you post stories at, I don't know, whatever time, right? Like
probably like 6.
if
6 till like 2 in the morning.
I haven't even woke up and you already have to get to it, but because you also have, you decided, you took on the responsibility. Okay, I'm gonna bake cakes, and so therefore I need to deliver it at this time.
You have to work long hours, yeah. And don't think this has been my only job. I have worked at Viva Chicken, Harry Steeder, a Mexican restaurant, Amazon, another restaurant. I'm probably like naming jobs like the first 5 jobs I worked a lot of jobs. I've pretty much worked everywhere. Like, you name it, I've probably worked there.
What did those jobs teach you? Like going
customer service.
Why did you shift so much?
Because I just wanted to get the experience. I worked customer service. I've worked in the back. I worked as a cashier, server. I've done many things. And honestly, I feel like that set me up. Like, all of those things combined set me up to what I'm doing now in a really weird way. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, all of those experiences, like customer service helped me. Multitasking really helped me. The behind the scenes things of businesses, like hospitality and all that really did play a big part into what I know now. And I think that's why I got pretty far as well. Just because of those experiences, I want to say.
But then at what point do you decide that it's going to be baking?
That's like, so if we're talking about the very beginning, like where I got this idea, I'm going to be really honest. And I tell this to people a lot. The story is, I was working as a hostess at the Melting Pot. I don't know if you heard of that restaurant.
Is it where you do the fondue?
Yeah, it's a fondue restaurant. Yeah, I was working there. And I was really tired of it. Obviously, with any job, you get those managers that just, you don't like them. Yeah. And they're so mean and they're so nitpicky about everything. And one day I was just laying down and I was on Pinterest, that app where you get all like the inspiration and everything. And I saw this really cute cake and I was like, this is really cute. I want to do that. I want to make this right now. Like, if I could get up and go to the store right now, I would do it. I screenshotted it and I posted on my Instagram, and I was like, if I were to sell these, who would buy them off of me? Like, 2 people replied. And the next day I went and bought a mixer. And it just started like that. No, like, I'm so serious. Like, the next day I woke up, I bought a mixer, I bought some ingredients, and I was like, okay, let's start with the frosting. Let's, like, try to just, like, dip our feet in. Like, no. Like, actually, no, I didn't dip my feet in. I threw myself in. I didn't know what I was getting into. I just knew that I put my mind to something, and I'm just really impulsive. So I put my mind to it. I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't care what nobody tells me. I don't care if I fail. I don't care. I'm gonna do it. And that's where it just all started. But
we're talking about how many years ago?
This was July 2023.
Oh, so it's recent.
Yeah.
So you don't really it's recent that you started decorating
I had
cakes.
never baked a cake in my entire life. Never.
Did you ever like it? Is it...
Honestly, when I was little, I used to try to make cupcakes, but I don't know if you know, like, how ovens work. You have to click the button, and it says preheat. Yeah, it has to heat up.
I've never gotten the part of the bake and broil.
Okay, baking, it's just like a cake. Broil is when you put something in the oven, and it burns the top, like mac and cheese. Like, I don't know if you've seen the mac and cheese with like the black kind of crispy part on it.
So that means
That's
that the heat
broiled.
is coming from above?
I believe so.
And baking is at the bottom?
I don't know. I've only broiled something once, so don't take it from me.
Okay.
But
Because I always thought broiling. I was like, broiling. I was like, so does it have like some type of humidity? But
I honestly have no idea. I'm still new to this. I probably know as much as you are about ovens. All I know is that you turn it on, you let it preheat, and once it's ready, it's ready. So when I was little, I used to try to make cupcakes. I would fail every time because I would just put them in as soon as I turn on the oven, and I didn't know that. So I would always fail. So that's all the experience I had beforehand. I want to say maybe like a month or two, maybe a month before I started my business, I went to my friend's house and we made cupcakes, and I did like the Hello Kitty design on it. I had a lot of fun doing that. And like that hour that we were just decorating cupcakes, I had a lot of fun. And I think that's kind of where I got the idea. Like, I really like, just like little art in like edible forms, if that makes sense. And growing up, people would ask me, I remember somebody asked me this recently a couple years ago, like, what's your dream job? Like, who do you want to be when you get older? I would always say bakery owner. Like, I want to have a bakery.
But why would you say that? Because
I don't know. I have no idea.
Could the idea come? Like, I don't know. A lot of people want to own a coffee shop.
I don't know where that came from. That's the thing. Like, I always saw myself going into like medical.
Really?
Like something medical related. Like whether it be a medical assistant, I was going to do that right out of high school. And I'm glad I didn't. Because that's something I probably wouldn't be interested in today, honestly.
And so then, whenever you had that hostess job and then you decided to buy your machine, how long did it take you to ramp up sales to where you felt, or what was that journey like?
So as a hostess, there would be opening shifts, and I would work some of them. And with that job entailed was in the morning you had to make like chocolate plates. Okay. So you would melt chocolate and you would like write in cursive on like these little plates, and you put a strawberry on it. And I really liked that. Like, that was my favorite part of the entire job. Okay. Like, honestly, like getting there and like starting on the plates where you'd like, oh, happy birthday, this name, or happy anniversary. I grew a lot of interest in that. Like, I really liked, working with my hands, anything that has to do with art. I grew up drawing a lot. I really like art. In high school, I didn't mention this, but in high school, I would do makeup. Like, I would do girls' makeup for money.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would do quinceañera makeup. I do the bridal makeup. I do graduation photo shoots. So I always knew I had something with like my hands and makeup and all of that, and art. Okay. So back to your question, like from the hostess job to when I bought my mixer, how long did it take me to get sales? It really didn't take me too long. I want to say probably since I made my account, which is completely irresponsible. You shouldn't do this when you're starting out, but literally like within like a week or two, I started taking orders. Not too much orders, and I was very honest. I think I was selling full-size cakes for like $25.
You were being transparent with people that
yeah, of course. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And funny story, this girl Ashley, and like Ashley, if you're watching this, I love you. She asked me to make her birthday cake, and I failed miserably. It was bad. Like, I had made the bread and everything. I tried to decorate it, and it was just melting on me. It was so bad. I had work that day, so I was just crashing out. I was crying. Like, I spent like my savings on like all the ingredients, like all of the decorations, the boxes, the board. And it was so disappointing for me. But I think that's like really what set me up to be successful, because you really don't know what success is unless you've like completely failed, I think. Because when you're on the bottom, like, you're not gonna know when you're finally like learning and going up, if that makes sense. And
you made so many mistakes because you didn't know how to bake?
No, I didn't know anything. I was just starting out. Like I said, like I jumped blindfolded into like a huge ocean, and like I didn't know anything. I would watch videos, but unless you're doing that hands-on, it doesn't really teach you anything. It was really difficult that day because I really felt unmotivated. I took the cake to work. I just let everyone in the back eat it, and they loved it. They said it was really good. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, it would have been better if I could actually have been there for her. And she was really understanding, and obviously she knew what it entailed. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to try. It didn't end up being a big deal, but I just felt terrible because, like, that's her birthday. So, mm-hmm. But she knew, like, she was my very, very first order, and I was pretty transparent. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. And I'm forever grateful that happened. I just made her a cake for her birthday. I think I've made, like, her second one for her birthday. I just made one for her anniversary. Mm-hmm. So, like, she stuck around, and, like, she knows me, and I'm glad she was able to see me grow in that way. But, yeah, I failed that miserably. It was so bad. And I think one thing about me is I'm very competitive. Okay. So I kind of use that as motivation.
Who are you competing against?
Myself. Okay. Myself, like I feel like who I am now. Like, my friends always tell me, like, oh, you're not in competition with anyone. Like, oh, like, this isn't competition, Lisa. I'm like, yeah, I know that. Like, I'm in competition with myself. You know, my past self, who I was yesterday, who I was this morning. You know, always try to be better. Mm-hmm. So, I had previously made a cake before hers that was really, I think it was because I didn't have a lot of pressure on me. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty easy. And I successfully made it, and, like, I sold it for, like, super cheap. And then once her birthday came, I think I had a lot of pressure on me. That might have been the reason why I was not doing everything the way I should have been. Okay. Like, letting it chill in the fridge, making everything properly. So I was like, no. Like, I failed, but I was successful last week. So this can't be the end. Like, mm-hmm. I can't quit now, you know? So it's like, I'm very competitive in that way with myself and who I was before. Like, I see like a post on a cake that I think looked really, really good. Like, when I posted it, I'm like, well, that looked really good. How can I top myself today? Like, how can I top what I did last year? How can I top what I did yesterday? If that makes sense.
So does feedback help you? Like, since you've built a strong following on Instagram and, mm-hmm. and that presence, mm-hmm. what does that bring to you? Does that bring to you a lot of critique? And by critique, I can mean, like, bad or good. Mm-hmm. What does that do to you, essentially?
Honestly, I've only really known positive feedback. Not to say that there's people out there that you know, don't say mean things, because obviously they do. You know, you can't satisfy everyone. But I really, really like that I've grown a strong following and that I've taken myself this far. I really do like that because I've worked really hard for it. Like, I'm very, very consistent. I've always been consistent from the week I've started. I've been consistent. Mm-hmm. So just having people, you know, say they like what I do and tagging me as, like, inspiration and saying that I motivate them, or, like, getting really excited, and they'll, like, screenshot my post my page when I follow them, and they'll be like, oh my god, Lisa followed me. I'm like, I get really big imposter syndrome. I'm like, I was just doing this to somebody, like, 2 years ago, but it felt like yesterday. You know, now it's like me, and obviously I'm gonna feel that way about bigger creators that, you know, notice me or something. Yeah. But that makes you feel really good. That honestly is what motivates me to keep myself going every mm-hmm. day. People that look up to me and really admire what I do, even if it's just like a mom or like a teenage girl, not just so much as like a baker, even like a little girl, like little girls. Like, my cousin, she's, I want to say 11, 10, mm-hmm. and she'll walk in, she lives pretty far, but when she comes to visit, she'll walk in on me decorating, she'll just be in awe. I'm like, girl, like, I don't really like how it looks. She's like, no, like, it looks beautiful. Like, social media to me, I'm very grateful for it, but it's more so like family. You know, people you meet in person. You know, social media you can't see face to face, but if someone's in front of you and they're telling you, like, I'm proud of you, like, this looks really good, or, you know, maybe you can work on this a little bit more, you know, that means so much more to me. So social media, I feel very lucky for it and how far I've came, but it'll never compare to, like, your cousin or, like, your aunt telling you, like, this looks freaking beautiful, like you're doing that. Yeah.
And is, like, your family impressed then at this point that you were able to take an impulsive idea because it sounded like you just
it
like
was.
were like, I'm just tired of this. I'm gonna
I
do
woke
this.
up one day and now I'm here.
You woke up one day.
It's really hard to believe because I know people who've been working towards this all their life and they grew up baking. Like, no, like I just woke up one day and then I'm just like my whole world just flipped. Like I just stuck to something. I think my parents don't really grasp how far I've came in such little time, probably because they've been there every step of the way. You know, it's just kind of like okay to them. Like obviously my mom tells me she's proud of me. My dad's more like machista, so he can't really look at me and say like, "Hey, I'm proud of you," you know. But I'll take anything. He'll take pictures.
Really?
No, yeah.
Yeah, you're the daughter.
Yeah.
I would say like, and or at least in my family, well, it's us all boys. My mom or my dad would be so. They'd give the girl everything. So
he does it in his own little way.
Okay.
Like when he sees a cake, he'll open the fridge. He'll come on his break. He'll open the fridge. He'll be like, "Wow." Like, and he'll bring his phone, he'll take pictures, and I'm like, okay, well, he does it in his own little way.
Okay, so he won't say it to you directly,
no.
but he'll indirectly appreciate what
He's
you're
a little
doing.
shy, but I'll take whatever I can get.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad he does that.
That's how Mexican parents tend to.
Yeah. Like I said, like, you know, something on social media doesn't compare to, like, your family telling you, like, wow, like, that is gorgeous.
Yeah, and since those people are so important to you, it's feedback that just envelops you, that it does not compare to anything that people you don't know. You know?
But it still means something, of course, at the end of the day. Like, I'm still really appreciative of it. But it just feels like a warm hug when somebody tells you, like, to your face, like, you ate
Definitely. Definitely. And so then when did you decide to quit your job? Was it because you felt comfortable you could make a living on this, or was it because also, I don't know if you get monetized. Do you get are you monetized on Instagram? Not yet.
No, I had a subscription where people could pay to you know, do tutorials, where I did tutorials and they like paid for it. But in the end, like I made no money off of that because I didn't have my LLC. So I couldn't link my business to Instagram. So I was just doing it for free.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you were just giving out free classes?
Well, at the time I thought I was going to get paid for it. But that goes to show, like, again, it's really important to like have your business established and set in stone. Because Instagram gave me until the end of the year to do that. I was kind of doing it like November, December-ish. And I wasn't able to... I didn't know, actually. I didn't know you're supposed to put your business, you're supposed to link your business. I thought you just had to link a card and you get paid. Boom. No, it's not like that. So I think I made like $40. I made like $40, which is not a lot.
That's going to help me because I don't, well, I at one point want to monetize this, but I don't know when, but I didn't know that you had to put a company name in order to get.
Yeah. That's one thing.
I mean, maybe that's the way to keep track of the money.
So I'm not monetized right now. I make like no money off of it.
Really?
Yeah. I only make money off exposure to people and that buy cakes off of me. And I only operate through Instagram. I don't have a Facebook. I don't take orders from people on Facebook. I don't take orders from anywhere else but Instagram. That's why I go so hard on like my posts and everything. That's why I make sure they're always perfect. They're always timed. They're always good quality posts. Because that, again, gets you more exposure, more clients. You know, people trust somebody who really cares about what they're doing. And I really do. You know, so back to your question, like, I think you asked me, how did I know when I had to quit my job?
Yeah, because I honestly thought you were monetized by Instagram. No. Like, some of your reels have gone crazy.
Yeah, I had one that had like 15 million. I made no money off of that. But I gained a good amount of followers. Okay. So to me, that's something. Okay. You know, I really do. Not that I care about followers. Like, obviously you care. Yeah. You work for them, you know.
And it's weird, though, because so many views and...
It should have been on TikTok, but I'll take it.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I don't know what it is. Does the algorithm just pick what videos? Do people choose what videos? I don't know.
I don't know how none of that works. I'm just grateful that at least one person sees what I do.
Yeah, and like, to your point, it is good exposure.
Yeah, for sure. And good exposure means, you know, you're more legit on Instagram. People trust, you know, somebody. And like, that's why I went ahead and got verified.
Yeah.
Because I would trust somebody verified with my cake. I don't know. Like, that's just my opinion.
Okay.
I don't want to be too deep into social media because that's when people, I don't know the right word to explain it. That's when people get too in over their head. That's when people think like, oh, like I'm better than this person because I have a lot of followers. Like, no, it's never supposed to be like that. And I think that was something that was really important to me when I started, is not to, because there was one point where my posts were getting a lot of engagement, a lot. But I try not to let it get to my head. I just enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this does not equal orders. So the most important thing that's making me money right now is actually getting orders. So
okay.
I try to use that to my advantage. You know, I don't look at that as the end goal. Like, I could gain 1 million followers right now, and like that wouldn't mean much to me.
So do you start doing certain things to actually get more orders, or does the creating engagement,
you can only do so much to get
work
orders
for you?
You can only do so much. Like, obviously you can promote your business. I used to make like little cards. I would used to stick them on my cake boxes. Like, nobody's touching a card. Like, nobody really goes off cards. Probably old school people, but right now you can use social media to your advantage. You can make posts. You can take pictures of cakes, make them really pretty, and people will see that. You know, Instagram will probably push that out more, and that is what was most important to me since I started, making sure that my posts were high quality. You know, I wouldn't just post anything just to post it. Like, everything I would do would be very calculated. Like, when I first started, my kitchen was not up to par. It was like a rundown Mexican kitchen. Like, it was bad. Like, not bad. It just wasn't what I felt would take me very far. I actually ended up convincing my parents to remodel the kitchen. So I worked outside of my aunt's. I worked in my aunt's home, I want to say for a month and a half while they were getting everything done. And my kitchen looked like it did a 360. Like, my kitchen is beautiful. And I will forever be grateful to my parents that made that happen because I was there to push them. I was like, I really want to be something, but I can't if the environment I work in isn't matching that dream. You know what I mean? Like, if we were in a basement, you know, all run down right now, you wouldn't have the motivation to do what you're doing now. I want to say, but it's like beautiful in here. It's gorgeous. And, you know, I think how hard you go for yourself really matters. So obviously that's the same with Instagram. Like, if you're just pushing out content and, you know, the things you make aren't very high quality, or the pictures aren't good, or the angles aren't right, you know, your Instagram will not push that. You know what I mean?
I find that so hard to like believe that like exists today because
that's just how it is.
Like I'm aware of it, but I just don't know how to properly do it, and nor do I care either. Like,
no, yeah.
But I know, or from what you're telling me, it's really important.
Especially like a lot of my cakes are like on Pinterest, and that used to be a dream of mine. I used to go on Pinterest to get ideas for the cakes I would make. Now I scroll and I see my own work, and that's
people
like
posting your work.
Yeah, that's mind blowing to me. Like, I'm so flattered. Like, I get so happy when I see it because, you know, apps like that, they go off aesthetic. You know, so when I first started, I'm going to get back to your question, I promise.
No, go crazy.
I just want to talk about this.
Just the word aesthetic is always like...
It's funny, especially in Spanish, estético. No, but it is like something really important. It's something that gets you very, very, very far. When I first started, when my kitchen was not like all that, I went to Lowe's.
Just let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
What did you ask for the most? More counter space, or what did you ask for more?
I wanted an all-white kitchen. I wanted marble countertops. I wanted space. I wanted a big sink. I just threw it all out there. I'm like, Mom and Dad, like, can you make this happen? And imagine, like, my parents working so hard, probably their entire lives, to come home to, like, that. You know, a kitchen that's never been remodeled, super outdated, kind of run down. And when they got the kitchen remodeled, they did the floors, they did the bathroom, they did the pipes under they did the water, they did the electricity, they did everything. And I'm so glad they did because my parents really deserve the best. And they deserve to come home after work to a beautiful house. Yeah. And my mom has always been so, like, stingy with her money, which I'm came out the same way, and that's really good, especially these days. People need to save their freaking money. You need to save your money the best you can, because you never know what's gonna happen, and you have to have something going for yourself. You can't just work your life away. So like I look up to my mom for that, because my mom and my dad had the money to do what I was asking them to do. I wasn't forcing them to do it, but I was like, hey, like, think about it. Like, think about how all of this would look really, like, nice. Like, really remodeled.
You're over here convincing, manipulating the situation.
The first day we moved back into the house, my parents slept in their room with dust, and it was dirty. They weren't done remodeling. My parents were already sleeping in their room. They would go to sleep hungry. They would go to sleep not having eaten anything, because they didn't want to stay anywhere else. And, you know what, props to them. But I had to work, so I was a few houses up the street in my aunt's. And I would sleep there. I would do my cakes out of there. And I really do, like, I'm so thankful for my aunt and my uncle, because they let me take up their fridge space. They let me bring people to the house to collect the cakes. And they were like, no, you work. Like, you do what you have to do. And they were so supportive of me. They never once made me feel like I was in the way. But let me tell you this. The first day we moved back into the house, when everything was done, I made a Hello Kitty cake. And I took, like, I had, like, a vision. Like, I wanted the marble countertops to be, like a background for my cakes. And I took that really far. The first picture I ever took, it was a Hello Kitty cake. And it went viral. Not viral, but it got a lot of likes on TikTok. Like, it was my first TikTok that blew up of, like, my cakes.
You know, all this is very meaningful to me, because I've come to find out that where you live, or I mean, if we always talk about that your environment influences you, we rarely consider our household as kind of like the first environment we wake up to, come to, and we live in. And with you saying all this, it's kind of like a house is a self-reflection of like who you are, state of mind, and how much prosperity you bring in.
For sure.
And so therefore you kind of took all that and put it like, I don't know how it happens, right? But it just like channels through an image.
For sure.
And since you know about angles and all that, that obviously that's a little more, but it's the fact that you're already in this mindset, like, this is going to be a game changer. Which
I had a vision, and I wanted to follow that so bad.
Which I didn't know that was kind of like...
it matters.
Your journey that you had gone through to achieve the popularity you have today.
For
you
sure.
get what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And you sharing your stories with your parents, like, convincing them about this idea and... Remodeling is tough.
No, yeah, and it was, but they had saved up for literally, it felt like nothing. You know, it felt like they were saving just to, like, obviously when you pass away, you don't take your money with you. So my dad, he had a lot of doubts. We got into a really big argument because I was like, Dad, like, look what we come home to. You know, obviously we are so blessed to have a roof over our head. We are so blessed in that way. But it could have just been like my parents, like I said, they're stingy with their money, and I came out the same way. But there comes a level to where the sink got so clogged before we remodeled the house, the sink got so clogged we had to take a hose from the backyard and like put it under the sink to get like. Now we have a garbage disposal, which I love my garbage disposal. Like, everything is so easy. But there were things in the house, and I can't sit here and name everything that was going wrong. But it just had to go. Like, it just had to go, and I didn't want to be mean or disrespectful because they worked so hard for the house. But I think they just come home and they got comfortable. They couldn't see the conditions we were living in, which aren't the worst conditions.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, like, this would be good. There's so much we want to do with the house. We have our washer and dryer in the kitchen almost. I'm like, that could not be good for you. Like, let's be for real. The washer and dryer is outside now. But I'm grateful that I was there, and I just pushed them to do it, because we all sat down one day and we're like, hey, like, there needs to be a change. We gutted damn near the whole kitchen, and it was in really bad condition. Like, it was really, really bad condition. I was like, I can't work like this. I can't run a business with, you know, the cabinets falling apart every time I open them, and it's like there's really no way to grow. But like I was saying, like, when everything got done, the house is so beautiful now, and I'm so grateful. But I think when, like, obviously I said, like, what you come home to and what you wake up to is a reflection of, you know, what you attract. I honestly think ever since that happened, our business opportunities, not even just for me, but for my parents, they've gotten, like, way better. It's almost like they want to wake up in the morning. It's almost like I want to wake up and go to the kitchen and, like, eat. It's almost like I want to actually take care of myself now, because everything around me is just like, oh, I'm so blessed. Like, I feel so grateful saying this, but everything around, like, the house is just beautiful. Like, I'm so happy to be alive. Like, I don't know.
No, and you know, that makes me so happy for you and even your parents, because it's kind of like, whenever, like, a lot of people just spend their life living but with no vitality.
Exactly.
They are deprived of something, which not even another, like, even with, if you interact with the same people all the time,
you can't grow.
And if you're not introduced to new ideas, which you brought up a new idea, and that changed everything. But if you're not, and if you're that constant environment that's depleting life out of you, then how do you expect to get new vitality? And it's so telling of, like, energy, because just your parents wanting to wake up again, or just everything being more prosperous, like, to me, that type of energy is amazing, because it only takes one person to do it.
Yeah, and, like, imagine my parents, like, they grew up in Mexico. You know, they were living in apartments before they got the house. I'm like, this house, I grew up in this house. I've been a little girl in this house. I was a baby in this house. I'm now 21. And it's like, I've only known everything that's already here, you know? Like, there needs to be a change. There needs to be something. We knocked down a whole wall that connected the kitchen to the living room. The house looks huge. We just got an island put in. Like, it's like so beautiful. But let me get back to what I was saying about the Lowe's.
You were going to go to Lowe's or Home Depot, you said.
No, I went to Lowe's, but when, before the kitchen was remodeled, I had this vision I was trying to look for. You could probably see it in my old post, but I bought 3 floor tiles, probably like this big, huge floor tiles, all white, really, like, good quality. It looked like almost glass. Like, they were gorgeous. And I would put one on the table. I would put one behind it and one next to it. And I would put huge vases behind both of them. And I would put the cake in the middle, and that's how I would take pictures. Because I had a standard of how I wanted them to look. I wanted it to look like, I don't know if you...
Elegance display.
Yeah, elegant. I was trying to go for that. Like, ever since I started, I'm like, I can't keep taking pictures, like, on a counter. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I went and got those. I still have them. I don't want to get rid of them. But I would set all my cakes that way, and I would try to get, like, a really nice feed going with, like, all white. You know, something like from the beginning, like, I just had, like, a standard of what I wanted to do. Now I take pictures of my cakes, like, on, like, the marble slabs on top of the counters and everything. And I have a good amount of cakes that got a lot of traction. I don't want to say viral, because, like, I don't know, probably like 13,000 likes to me. That's a lot. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Because of, probably, I want to say, how the cake was set up, the angle, the quality, the background, the mirror. There's just so much that I had, there was just so much that went into it, and I have no idea where I came up with this. I have no idea how I became good at it.
That's where I was going to. Like, where do you, as a starving artist, I would call it, like, when,
I was hungry.
Like, you get what I mean? Like, you have so many ideas, but then you even see it in music or in anything. It's like you just can't come up with new ideas because you aren't in the same place you were. Like, how do you continuously come up with new ideas or stay creative?
Have you heard of writer's block?
Writer's block, yes.
I'm in that right now, because I feel like everything I've wanted to do, I've done it.
Oof.
Yeah, every cake I've wanted to do, I've done it. Obviously, I still have, like, my dream list, but I'm sorry, what was your question? I feel like I always, like, base off your question.
No, I mean, you're on the right track. Yeah. How do you keep on that starving artist? Like, how do you feel?
How do I keep going? Ooh, that's a good question. Probably thinking about what the girl who first started out would have wanted and like the craziest thing I can come up with in my head. Like probably that's how I keep myself going. Obviously, you use the work of others in this community, like people who make cakes, people who do weddings. You see what they do, and it's like an idea. It's like someone comes up with a really good idea, and it like bounces from person to person, from business owner to baker, and it just becomes like a trend almost. Like I remember when the bows on the cakes first started. I don't know if you remember, because you know how like cakes have like little bows.
I actually had never seen that up until you started.
Oh really? No, like I think it just started like not too long ago, but it became a trend, and now it almost like stuck. That's
where does that bow come from? I know that it's like coquette, right?
Yeah, it's just a ribbon. Like you buy like the ribbon.
But like where does this idea come from? Because I feel like a lot of ideas are recycled.
Probably one person. Probably one person just stuck bows on a cake and was like, yeah.
And it fits. Yeah. I thought it came from somewhere.
It probably did, but like I said, like you said as well, it always can become like start from one person, if that makes sense. So obviously I'm not saying like, oh, one person in the whole world like stuck a bow on a cake and became like, you know, a set trend. Maybe that's really popular. But everyone always wants to like find different and new ideas. I think that's really, really cool. And that's like me. So what I was saying with writer's block is you can only have so many ideas before you're like burnt out. You know what I mean? Because I had a couple ideas. I did them. You know, they went really well with my orders and everything. Like people saw that like, oh, I want a cake that looks just like this. I remember when I first started, I made a cake and it got pretty good engagement. I think I was making that cake like 3 times a week. I haven't made that cake in a while now. Yeah. But last year I was probably making it like for a good like 8 months. Probably like 1 or 2 orders a week would be that same design I came up with.
And what was design? What did design follow?
It was just a pink cake with bows and glitter and pearls. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think probably the way I took the pictures of the cake, like I say, they matter. You know what I mean? If I just stuck a cake like where? Like on an oven, like on top of my stove, and took a picture, bam. Like nobody's would be like, okay, I want that for my birthday. And that's why presentation is very important. The way I set up my boxes when I give my cakes, I find that really important. So all of these like little trends, they really play a part into the whole entire community, I want to say. Like the baker community, like I call it the baker baddies because we're all so gorgeous. But like all of my mutuals that have businesses that make cakes as well. I think it just takes one really, really cute trend for everyone's business to just start like getting like really like a good amount of orders. I don't know if that makes sense. Like a TikTok trend. Like, you know, like when something goes viral on TikTok, everyone does it and everyone has like a viral video. And all of a sudden, those people, they get a lot of followers, and they're like, oh, maybe I should start doing TikTok, blah, blah, blah. It's probably the same for bakers as well. Like,
But don't you think that causes a lot of, like, rises and then, like, heavy downfalls?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because you could go, people could like one cake you do and might not like the rest, you know? That's why I always say, like, never try to be so stuck up when it comes to social media, because you could have it one day and it could be gone tomorrow. At the end of the day, it's all on your phone. It's not like real life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't take it for granted. You should be very thankful to where you are now, because I was a lot less stress-free and more creative and more, I want to say, happier when I first started. And I had like 300 followers. I was like ready. I would wake up in the morning, I was ready. But now with all these mistakes I've made and everything I've learned and, you know, all the things I don't want to happen again, you kind of wake up a little bit more like, I don't want to say in fear, but it is a lot of more pressure, you know, because you've already made all the mistakes. When you first start, you don't know what you're getting into. So it's really easy, if that makes sense. It might seem hard, but it's easy. Because you're so optimistic of what you can have.
Yeah, and then that keeps you going.
Yeah, and you want to keep going even though you make mistakes. Like, it takes me very, very long to forgive the mistakes I've made. Because forgiving yourself and giving yourself grace is a big part of owning a business. Like, you're going to mess up. And I've been really hard on myself since day one. But when I started, I was a lot less hard on myself. But now I know better. Now I'm going on 2 years. I know better. I shouldn't do this. This shouldn't happen. I shouldn't forget this. I shouldn't be messing this up. So it's a lot more pressure, when you've been in the game for so long.
So what realization do you come to when you're burnt out?
You just gotta keep going. You can't.
Okay.
You can't just ask for a break. I mean, if you work a regular 9 to 5, like a regular job, you work under someone. Like when I worked at, my other jobs, I wouldn't get burnt out because I would go to work and go home, and that wouldn't be my problem until I walk back into work.
Yeah.
Like now, it's constantly not a problem, but it's constantly my responsibility. I'm the only one. I'm the social media manager, I'm the baker, I'm the dishwasher, I'm everything, like literally everything. So you can't be burnt out in this job. I mean, you can have your moments where you just need to get away from the kitchen and just take a breather, because I've definitely had my moments. But you need to learn to appreciate, and you need to learn how to but you need to learn how to make the most out of an hour when you're not working or on your phone. You need to, like when I have a day off, like today, like I slept in, I ate breakfast because I rarely eat breakfast, which is really bad. I'm coming here. I want to go to the gym later.
Which actually might be good though.
Yeah.
Not eating breakfast is actually keeps you in a fasted state.
Yeah, I know. Like I have no waste right now. Like I'm not complaining. But oh yeah, like you can't be burnt out. That's not an option, unfortunately. You can't. You can be tired. You can complain. You can do all of that. Doesn't mean you have to be a superhuman. But from my experience and what I've learned along the way, is you can't be burnt out. You can't quit. You can't just because there's birthdays, there's anniversaries, there's weddings you have to be there for, and you have to deliver the best quality. And I've been working off open availability for almost over a year. I don't have a specific day where I'm like, yeah, I'm closed. Starting April next month is where I'm going to be like, okay, Sundays, you're not picking up, nobody's coming near my house. Like, that's my day. And that's, I just started that, which is long overdue. For sure.
Open availability means that whenever...
They can pick any day and I'm there. Even when I'm busy, I'll make the cake before they pick up, And
but that makes it really hard on your schedule because you don't set that boundary of like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't want a boundary. I wanted every single order. I wanted everything. You want me to do it, I'm there. And I'm very grateful that I have that sense of work ethic, because that's what I think got me really far. Being all into the business. I've had times where I'm so exhausted and I really want to go to sleep. Like, I know what it means to be exhausted. I know what that means. Like, I remember I was so tired. It was like 2 a.m. I had to be up at 6. This was actually the cake I did for your company, surprisingly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't say anything bad.
No, not at all. But like, I knew it would be a lot of work, and I wanted it to be fresh. I wanted it to be good quality. I started it maybe like a day or two before, and there's people who work on cakes that big within a week. I'm not doing that. Like, every cake I make, if I have an order tomorrow, I'm baking it tonight. People like to bake once a week and freeze the cakes. I don't like to do that. I really don't. Because obviously you have to bake it. You need to put it somewhere. You can't bake it in the morning and decorate it after. You have to let it chill. So every cake I've made, I bake the night before and I decorate it the next day. And that takes a toll on like my free time and all of that.
Definitely.
But if
cooking is a lot.
Especially when it's like so tedious. But I want it to be fresh, and I want people to come back, and I make it happen, Like, even if I'm tired, I'll still do it.
I was surprised that people ate the cake because
really?
We've done the party already. I think we're on this was our 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
They never ate the cake.
No,
but this time they did. But because I think it had fruits and even the, I don't know, it was just, everything was good. So
yeah, I didn't want to say I rushed it, but I made sure the time crunch was very small, because I wanted it to be fresh, and I wanted to, it just meant something to me. It just meant a lot to me that you trusted me with all these people. And going back to what I was saying, like the exhaustion part, like I think it was like 12 o'clock. I had to be up not 12, I think it was like 2 a.m. I had to be up at 6 to stack it and start it. And I could not physically stand up. Like, I could not stand up. My feet were just aching. My legs were aching. I had to do the dishes, like, on my knees. Like, I had to get on my knees and I had to do the dishes like this.
Really?
Yeah. But I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, probably that's how I'm like, I'm so tired. Like, but I was so excited for the next day. I just wanted to be done. And I was on my feet. And, like, it's really no different from when I wasn't doing this. And I would, like, destroy my feet and my legs in the gym. You know, I wasn't making money off that, you know?
True.
So, like, now that I am, it's really motivating, but it is really, really hard on your body. Yeah. Standing for long periods of times. I would wash my hands with, because I don't even want to get into, like, my OCD, because I have really bad OCD with, like, cleaning and all of that stuff. I would wash my hands with, like, super hot water. My hands would be really dry. I just now discovered dishwashing gloves, which they have saved me. But I really don't want to, like, get too much into, like, my OCD. But I have, like, clean OCD.
But I think that's good though, right? But
no,
I mean,
I care.
But I think that also could be a double-edged sword, because it's like you start noticing things that really irk you, and it's
and not even like, oh, this needs to be organized like this. This needs to be like this. I don't care about that. My biggest priority is cleaning and the health of other people.
Food safety.
Yeah, food safety. Allergies. I never want any cross-contamination. I don't offer anything with nuts for that very reason, because I already can't guarantee anything. That's why I always ask in my form, like, is there anyone with allergies? I always make sure to ask that question. And something that my mom finds really annoying is when I wash the dishes, I have to be the one to do the dishes every time. If my parents do the dishes, I'll rewash them, and I'll spend probably 10 plus minutes rinsing them to make sure there's no soap on them, because that's one of the biggest fears I have. Probably just impulsive, intrusive thoughts. That's one of them.
But why though? Like, if we can touch on that, it's like the soap is so ingrained into the plate already that you're never gonna take it off.
I know, and one big thing about OCD, it's never gonna be enough for your brain to be like, okay, this is good now. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be like the feeling. Not even just OCD. I make cakes in like a beanie, and I'm always checking for hairs. There's no hairs in my kitchen. Like, I could tell you right now, there's not a single hair on my. There probably is. But I bake cakes in like beanies, and then before they go out, I always check them. I always have to tie up my hair, put on a beanie, gloves. I hate touching things without gloves. And I'm also, like, so tired of washing my hands 24/7. I really don't like going to the bathroom in the middle of baking, because I'm always convinced that my hands are dirty. I could sit there and scrub my hands for 30 minutes. Like, I'm always like,
Okay.
Yeah, so
okay,
it's like...
So it's very...
it's very, like, bad right now. And I never used to be like this. Obviously, I'd have, like... I would care for sure. But these days, it's getting really bad. You know? But these are kind of the things you just have to work around. Because I can't sit there. I have a cake due at 3. It's like, 2:30, and I'm still washing my hands. It's not that bad. Like, I'll put on some gloves and call it a day. But I'm very prideful, and I'm very happy that I care this much about people. That's why I'm always telling my mom, like, be careful when doing this. Be careful when doing this. Like, when I have Mexican parents. They're always cooking chile. They're always cooking something, and I'm like, get my dishes and like hide them under the counters. I'm always like putting paper towels, like plastic wrap, like no, like I don't like any contact at all. I have my separate designated. I have a closet full of just everything baking. I love my closet so much. It's just full, and it's always closed, and I make sure everything is always clean. People who have businesses that don't involve food, I think they have it off pretty easy. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. Like, food is, aside from the taste and the quality, being clean and making sure people like it, I think that, like, makes everything 10 times harder, for sure.
I think it makes it 10 times harder on you because you're so... Well, I think your pride in the product that you produce shows, so therefore that's a good thing. But... I do know that, like, for example, we started, me and my brother, we wanted to start a food truck.
Mm-hmm.
Horrible experience.
Why?
Don't ever do food. Don't ever do food,
Oh,
guys.
no.
So same thing. I think I'm a very impulsive person.
Mm-hmm.
My brother's more level-headed. I just told my dad, I was like, "Can I buy a food truck?" He's like, "Yeah, sure."
Mm-hmm.
And my dad also just lets me. He's like, "You'll learn a lot more if you just go on a journey by yourself and you hit whatever wall, and then you kind of learn from that lesson, right? Like, I don't have to tell you anything."
For sure.
So went out, bought a huge food truck. First of all, food safety is so tough.
It's not talked about enough.
Food safety is so hard. But then food safety also, for example, got in my way of like how I wanted to cook the food, because I came to find out that you can't have raw meats in a food truck. So therefore you had to like kind of like pre-boil the meat and then cook it on the stove, but then it doesn't give it the same taste. Like a lot of people, talking about trends, it's like people did birria and I did too. But people did birria in 2 hours. I had mine cook there and sit there for 14 hours. Like, but because I was I have this idea that I know I'm a very picky person. Like, in a way that I'll go back and eat a cake if I like it. And I'll even eat it if I don't like it. But I'm never going to go back and buy it again. Type of thing. Same thing with food. And so that same ideal that I have for other people, I have to put it on me. I'm not just going to serve you whatever. And that's what really affected me, because I wasn't just going to go to the market and buy the meat. You can buy pastor meat just like that season.
Yeah.
But it tasted horrible. I would have to make my own sauce, marinate it for 4 days, let it sit there at least. I would not serve it, and all those things got in my way, because then food safety is like a whole nother realm that you have to worry about, because when the inspector comes, even in like whenever you have a line of 10 customers, everything has to be perfect.
Yeah.
No hairs, no nothing, and it really food safety really humbled me, because it's tough. It's tough. So even when restaurants I get like food sick, I'm like, you know what, like maybe it wasn't their fault, or but it's tough. The food safety is super tough.
I always have to separate like the cleaning and the baking aspect from like the art and actually decorating it, because to me it's art. I don't like to consider myself a baker. I just made cookies for the very first time in my entire life last night. I don't know I don't know anything. I want to learn. I want to expand what I know. But if my cakes have been keeping me busy for this long, I feel very grateful and blessed that they have. I have no time to learn anything else, and I kind of don't want to. I really do consider myself more like a cake artist than like a baker, if that makes sense. Obviously, I'm doing the baking, I'm doing everything, but I think because I'm not going to offer something that I know isn't good. Like red velvet, I don't know how to do red velvet. I haven't found a solid red velvet recipe that's convenient to me, that doesn't include like 1,000 steps. One thing I really like about it, one thing I don't want to feel annoyed by, is baking, because that plays a big role into, you can't decorate a cake without the cake itself, so I have to separate the love and hate for baking from the actual decorating part.
Oh,
it's really important.
Yeah,
like you have to set aside, like obviously, like before you start painting, you have to prep the brushes, prep the canvas, you have to get the paints, blah blah blah. You have to do all of that before you actually get to the art part. To me, that's really important, separating the two. And if I get through the baking, because baking is very stressful, I've messed up countless times, and I'm very nitpicky about if I feel like one thing is off, one tiny little thing is off. If my recipe is off by a gram at the end, I'm starting over. I really don't care about losing profit. I don't care about how much money I lose or how much time I lose. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to make sure my customer gets something that has quality and that I know is like perfect, if that makes sense. So if my customer, obviously, like, if you're a business owner, this happens, like, it's not like, oh my god, like, I've had customers that weren't happy, you know. I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm perfect. They weren't happy.
Happy in what though?
Probably like when I first started, like the design, like that's why I always say on my form, like, be very clear, and I always try to get as much information as possible. They're like, oh hey, like this didn't come out how I wanted. I'm like, it came out how you asked, but okay, like I can't read people's minds.
Yeah.
And you know, like I sat there and I'll give them a full refund. I don't care. I will lose profit before I have somebody mad that I didn't, I wasn't up to their expectations. You know what I mean? And they always end up coming back. So that's really, really important, keeping people happy and realizing that these are special events that people trust you for. You know, people put a lot of trust and faith into you. So I don't care about.
I want you to cook my wedding cake. I'm telling you.
Oh my god, yeah, that would be amazing.
But I like how you started putting designs on, or I don't know if that's what you're gonna start doing, but I haven't seen that in a while.
A cake topper, or what?
No, I saw that you bought like little like angel pieces, like pillars.
Oh yeah, the vintage. Like I really want to go back in time when it comes to wedding cakes.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about, because there's this makeup line I think that looks like princessy and stuff like that, and I don't know why, like it looks really elegant, and it's kind of putting back the elegance on wedding cakes. Like I didn't even know how I wanted my wedding cake to look like, but whenever I kind of saw what
like the pillars and the angels and the birds, and the cherubs,
like I can just imagine, like it's kind of like a white cake with like pearly like
in
accents,
the fountain with water under the cake,
stuff like that, and I'm like, wow, like I don't know, I just also have like a whole bunch of random thoughts throughout the day, and that time I was like, oh man, I was like, you know what, when I have my wedding, like I never even thought about the cake, but it would actually look cool if we had like vintage pieces, or it's, I don't know, I like little details like that.
It's a lost art, and I really, really feel very passionate about this topic, because wedding cakes these days, I'm so sorry, but they can be pretty basic. They can be like a white cake with flowers, bam.
Well, I think it also, like, the whole perspective on marriage thing has changed, so that's why even the importance of that has changed.
And like minimalistic and, you know, different, because obviously those cakes are still beautiful, you know. There's always gonna be someone who likes those cakes, there's gonna be someone who doesn't like those cakes, and the style of the wedding. But for me personally, I'm always gonna prefer like a tiered cake with like little cakes and like cherubs, angels, pillars, the water fountain, like the little water fountain directly under the cake, the little staircases. I find that so beautiful. For Christmas, I got like six books on like just strictly Wilton. It's like a cake brand.
Wilton, okay.
Of the vintage wedding cakes. And the word vintage, like the cakes I make, the designs, the strings, the piping, the heart, that's considered vintage. And
does it have a style name? Because that's
vintage cakes. Like that's mostly what I do.
Oh, yeah, okay,
so that's like specifically what I do. Like the style of cakes I do is called like vintage cakes.
Okay, because some people work with fondue and stuff like
fondant
that.
And all of that. Yeah, those are
fondant.
Fondant. Yeah,
not fondue. Okay.
Yeah, people do, like, there's fondant cakes, there's vintage cakes. There's so many. The genre just goes on and on and on. I can't even begin to think of
which, to your point, it's an art. Like,
it really is.
Straight lines.
Because you can go to Walmart. You can go to Walmart and get a cake. Okay, people spend their hard-earned money and they want something really, really, really nice. They're gonna go to a bakery. They're gonna go to Walmart. You know, it's all the same. And me, that's why I always try to just create art in what I do. It's very, very important to me. And these little things, like, they kind of go away over time. Like, it's kind of like a house. Like, you know, some houses have character, like the wallpaper, the walls, and then you walk in to like one built these days and it's just like modern. It's like all like, I'm like all white, but like my kitchen, that's how I wanted it. But it's, you know, like these things have character. They have a lot of just little things, and they kind of lose the traction over time. I think it's important to bring back like old-timey things, like clothes, if that makes sense. Like, you know, people like thrifted 1980, 1990 clothes, 2000s clothes. I think that's that kind of fits like the genre that like things back then were just so much more elegant and beautiful. Obviously there's things these days that probably are as well.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to cakes, like I've always liked how they looked back then, and I think that's something that should be offered more often these days, because there's people out there that do that send me so many cakes that were made like in old magazines, like that they found like at the thrift store, and they're like, hey, can you do this? I'm like, absolutely. That's why
That's good though,
yeah,
because it keeps on feeding your mind, and
yeah,
then
of
you just start
course.
like having all these ideas archived, and then somehow you'll come up with your own special idea of how you want it to be
Yeah.
designed.
Yeah, of course. And like things that were made before I was born, I just find that really, really cool. I really like how it looks. I'm very fond of like the designs that were made back then and the styles. Like on eBay, like what you saw, like just the little birds, like the cherubs, pillars, everything. I found it on eBay. I think I paid like $150. I still have them like put away right now. I haven't put them to use, and I really want to. And even then, I'll still make cakes that won't go to nobody. Like I'll probably mess up some cake in the oven. I'll like burn it a little bit. I don't use it, so I freeze it. And I find a day where I don't work, which I don't have often, but I'd rather sit there and decorate a cake that I've been wanting to do than wait for someone to ask for it, just to post it. And just so people
Okay.
can see like, hey, I offer this too, or just to get it out of the way.
Mm.
You always want to have like little ideas that you're like, oh, that would be like a dream for me to do. I don't wait for people to order. I just make it. And if no one's going to buy it, I just give it to my uncle or something. He'll eat it. Like,
Yeah.
so I think that's like a really good advantage to me. Like with what I do, I don't have to wait on anyone to ask for something. I can just make it right now. Like I can go home and make it, take a picture of it, and I'll just feel complete. Like I can mark that off like my bucket list. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And Lisa, I think we're coming to the culmination of this
Yeah.
episode, but I wanted to ask you, or for you to give a message, I guess, to your audience
Mhm.
and the people that follow you or
Mhm.
people that don't know you. Um, what the significance of you doing this right now like means to you? Like,
Mhm.
what advice would you give to a young baker
Mhm.
that's starting out, now knowing from your experience what you went through?
I would always say just give yourself grace, and you need to be able to forgive yourself for all the mistakes that you're gonna make along the way. Like if you see something and you want to do it, like don't ever think like something is too crazy of an idea. Don't ever think that you'll never be able to do something, because you definitely can. Like I'm living proof that the craziest idea can turn into like your whole life. And I just want to say, like, you're gonna mess up, you're gonna come to blocks, and you're gonna be unmotivated, and you're gonna want to give up. I want to give up like every other day and I can't. And like it's always good to say, you know what, like, I quit, I'm done, like I'm not taking orders next month, I'm done. But you give yourself an hour, you get over it, you really do. And it's very, very difficult, and it's very hard, but you have to have a sense of worth ethic, and you have to have a sense of just, you have to know that this too shall pass. And if you want it, you have to be very freaking motivated to do it, and you have to have people around you that aren't like yes men, but they're gonna be there to tell you, like, okay, like, this isn't good, this is good, you should work more on this. Have people around you that are very motivating, and be motivated yourself, but you can only be so motivated until you're like, okay, like I'm tired of this. That's always like one thing that happens to me, where I'm just like, oh, I'm tired of this. You have to learn when to pick yourself back up and tell yourself, like, okay, this is just another block in the road. And you have to get around that. You have to learn how to forgive yourself. You have to learn how to keep people around you that are going to motivate you and tell you that everything's going to be fine. And you have to want it. You have to really, really want it to get to where you're going to be. And you have to have faith in yourself and God for whatever you believe in. I had insane amounts of like, I have an insane amount of days where I'm like, I cannot do this. Like, what have I gotten myself into? Like, I have a week. I'm so busy. Like, what did I get myself into? But you just have to take it day by day. You just got to do it. You know, you can't think too much of, oh my God, I'm stressing over this cake, because the next day they're probably going to cancel it. You know? Like, you're not even going to end up making it. So don't put too much stress into something. Whether it be an order or the future or anything, because you never know if that's like guaranteed.
Yeah, because you do kind of work off that, like, your future, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're booked out, and so what if something doesn't turn out, and
exactly,
and you have to reconfigure your day. You can't really get caught up in.
You can't think too much about the future, even though it's coming at a very fast pace, because it's not guaranteed, number one. But you also have to enjoy the presence that the position you're in right now. Also, because it could be taken from you like that. Like, it can go away so quickly. I just felt like I was making my form for January a week ago. I just made my form for April and May. Like, time goes so quick. So you have to be very intentional with your time, and you have to, if you want to do something, you have to want to do it. You have to want to do it so bad that you stay up, that you overwork yourself. Like, obviously there's healthy ways to do it. I like to go the unhealthy way because I want it right now. Like, I want it so badly.
Yeah.
But you learn with your mistakes, and you just have to have good people around you, and you have to be a good person. You can't be full of yourself. You can't be too competitive. You have to be competitive with yourself. If you're not trying to be better than who you were a week ago, yesterday, this morning, you will not get very far. You can't be comfortable in just one spot. You have to always be evolving, especially the people around you too, you know?
Which I feel like you've made an impact on, like a very significant impact, which I had, people don't know until they see it come after a few moments of despair or an argument like you had with your father. So maybe he saw it a little bit later, you know, he was like, well, this actually make a good change. I
think he didn't believe in me. He was like, why do you need a new kitchen to start a business? I'm like, he didn't get it. But he didn't get it. Now he gets it.
Yeah, maybe, I just put myself in your dad's position, and I'm like, my daughter asking me, hey, make me a new kitchen, huh? Like, what? Yeah. You get what I mean? It's something so surprising, and it's like, well, you do what you can.
And it wasn't just me; it was my mom too. Like, she dreamed of like super nice house, and we were like, hey, Dad, like, my dad, like, he's not one to like. He's very laid back. He's very chill. But like I said, like, you know, the people around you, like, we had an argument, but we still got it done. And now we have a very good relationship. But I'm glad that I was able to show him, like, hey, like, that was for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I obviously help my parents a lot. Like, every time I go out with them, I always like to pay. And that's something very, very small. But I think they definitely paved the way for where I am now. And I don't want to sound spoiled. I don't want to sound like a little brat. Like, oh, I want a new kitchen right now. Like, that's going to help me. But I definitely felt like I wanted to fight for where I am now. And I'm glad I did, because I'm still growing every day. And I'm just really thankful. And I'm trying to be really, really, I'm trying to be very in the moment. But it's hard, you know, when you have a lot of orders and you have all this stuff going on. But, like, sitting down in this moment, like, I feel very grateful, and I owe that a lot to my parents, to my friends, everyone around me, my family, everyone I love, everyone on social media that supports me, how we help out each other, even one person who likes, like, my picture. I'm so insanely grateful. It's just hard to show that every day, you know, because you're so busy. You don't have time, but every chance I get, I'm like, oh, my God, I love you. Like, thank you. Like, I will post, like, a message. I'm like, oh, just so you guys know, like, I'm closed on this day. Okay, I love you. Like, bye. Like, I love to tell everyone, like, I love you. Like, there's so much love in my heart that I have so much left over to give. Like, I love my clients, my customers who always come back. Like, if they need a kidney, like, I have 2 of them. Like, take it. Like, I love them so much. I'm so happy that I'm in this position.
Well, I'm happy that we got your side of the story. I don't know if you've ever done a podcast or...
No, never. This is my first one.
So
I'm very excited.
So I hope that you get a lot from this. I hope that people get to know you, because one thing about social media, like you said, people already don't trust it, but if they see who you are, they come to realization that we're not a lot different. And like, we're all in our own fights. We're all in our own struggles. We are all going somewhere. So I hope that this does bring your audience to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, and like the reels I make, like I like to make reels, like really funny reels, or I just show my personality. Like, I will always be one to show my personality. Like, you're gonna get to know me and who I am. Like, I find it very hard to be professional sometimes because I talk to people like they're my friends. I talk to my Instagram followers, like my clients. I talk to them like they're my friends. Like, I don't want to see you like as money. Like, you're my friend. Like,
yeah, but that's good. I think that being too professional is also a thing. So
yeah, I'm always typing with exclamation points, with hearts, with emojis. Like, I don't like when people are just very like, bam, like, no, like.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Every single time I text people, they're like, "Are you serious? Are you mad?" No, I'm just I'm just texting you straight up what I think, what I'm feeling. I don't know.
And that's very around like a business that's centered around a lot of girls. Like, I'm always calling them like pretty names. Like, I never want to just be that person that's like professional. Like, no. Like, obviously I'm professional in my own ways. But I never want to make them feel like, oh my God, like, she's a little mean. Like, no, you're gonna be like, oh, like, when they think of me, I want them to say like, oh, Lisa, yeah, I love her. Like, she's so sweet, like, because that's really who I am as a person. I never want anyone to think like I'm mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad. And thank you, Lisa, then, for giving me your time.
Of course.
Any special shout outs you want to do before we cut it?
I want to shout out. Oh, I didn't even think of this. I'm shouting out my mom, my dad, my boyfriend, my brother, my nephew. Okay. He wanted me to shout out his TikTok. I'm not doing that because it's just his dog. Literally all
him and his dog?
No, it's just his dog. Like, it's literally like a poodle. Like,
he makes TikToks of his dog.
Yeah, I'm not shouting it out. I'm sorry, Gabriel. I'm not doing that.
Gabriel, sorry.
Yeah, my mom, my dad, my brother, my boyfriend, my nephew, all 15.3 people that follow me on Instagram. Every single one. Everyone who likes, everything. Shout out to God, obviously, because I would not be here and I would not be in this position without, him. And also, like, shout out to me for real, because hello, like, thank you. I took myself here and I took myself so far, and I've fought every single battle, whether it be mentally or literally everything, like, I've had to overcome to get here. And obviously other people helped me, but I'm very glad I was able to do that. And honestly, like, yeah, big shout out to me, because like one person, like, being one person bringing yourself this far is crazy. Obviously, like, there's people that help me, but it's not just me. But I play all roles in my job, and I'm just so, like, thankful that I have this sense of, I want that, I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna get it right now,
Yes. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, followers of Lisa who watch this video. Again, thank you, Lisa, for your time.
I hope I'm not missing anyone. I want to shout out everyone in the world. I love all of you. Shout out to you for bringing me on here.
And again, this was a pretty exciting episode for me because I get to bring another female entrepreneur which I like, because I don't get to have enough conversations, and I think out of every conversation that I get, that when people get to talk to me, I get energized by their old ambition. Like, man, like, if she can do that, what is stopping me from getting up and at least sitting on my computer for an hour and just getting to it? Because I also have that. I go through so much with just posting a video. Like, first of all, I don't like to talk to people. I'm very, I don't know, like, I've antagonized my friends, even though I should reach out to them. But I know that I'm very closed off, but every single time I do this, I feel like re-energized of why I do it. And you always find people, like I found you, and an inspiration of, like, you went through all these struggles, you believed in yourself so much that's why you're successful. It's not just simply luck. Luck will find you if you're working hard, and that's what it was. And I really appreciate you taking the time and being on the episode, and hope that you like it as well.
Yeah, me too. And I feel like it's very crazy because this is one thing that I woke up and it's who I wanted to be. Like, I woke up and I'm like, let's do this. And like, I have not stopped a single day since. Obviously, I've been on vacation. I've had days off, but I still have not stopped. You know, I've always on social media. Yeah, it's really important. And it's just like, if you want to do something, especially now, even like talking to you, if you have that one thing that you're not sure if you can do, you can definitely get there. You just got to work for it and hard. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No. And I appreciate it. Thank you,
Yeah,
Lisa. Guys, see you guys in the next episode.